everybody. So welcome back to PW International Boards. I am your mathematics mentor. So in today's session, we are going to continue with a series where we are learning different chapters of mathematics for the paper code 0580. Talking about what new topic and from which topic we are going to practice the previous year questions is equation and inequalities, which is a part of your unit 2, that is algebra and graph. So understanding what all subtopics we will be learning in today's session comprises of how to derive and solve linear equation with one unknown. Then we'll be learning about the constructing equation, about the simultaneous equation, how we can solve simultaneous equations by the rearrangement of formulas, and with that we'll be learning the two different methods, that is the elimination method as well as the substitution method. After this we'll be learning how to solve quadratic equation by factorizing, and we'll be learning about the quadratic formula followed by the linear inequalities and the previous year questions. So moving to the first question, moving to the first topic here that comprises of the linear equation, goes as a linear equation is an equation where the highest power of the variable is always 1. So here if I talk about that, whenever we are talking about the linear equation, there the highest power of the variable is always 1. Talking about that, how we are going to say it in terms of the degree, so it is also known as 1 degree equation. The standard form of the linear equation in one variable is ax plus b is equal to 0. So what we can observe here is that the highest power of x, if we talk about that in the form ax plus b equal to 0, the highest power of x, if we talk about, is nothing but 1. For that reason only it is considered as the linear equation. Is that clear? Moving forward, if we talk about the different things that we can see here in this equation, so clearly if I talk about this x, this is the variable, right? Further, if I talk about this a, this is actually the coefficient. If we talk about that, what is this b is the constant that is here. Are we clear with all the three parts of the linear equation? Moving further, if we talk about, let's solve some questions on that how we are going to solve the questions of linear equation. Let's understand it from the easiest to the, and we are going to gradually increase our level here. So moving to the first question, as it says 3x is equal to 2x minus 4. So here if I talk about, it is going to be 3x. So firstly, whenever we are solving any linear equation, in that case, we always try to bring all the variables on one side. Okay, so in order to get it, what we can do here is we can just subtract 2x from both the sides, right? So this is going to 2x minus 4 minus 2x. So we are going to get 3x minus 2x is nothing but 1x, or we can write this as x as well. And 2x minus 2x is going to give you a 0, and we'll be left with only minus 4 here. So clearly if I talk about the value of x that we are getting here is minus 4. Clear? Moving to the B sub part of the question, which says 5y is equal to 3y plus 10. So if we need to solve it, what we will do is we'll do 5y minus 3y is equal to 10. So what we are doing, we are subtracting 3y on both the sides. So we are getting this as 2y is equal to 10, and as a result we are getting the value of y is equal to 10 divided with 2. That means we are dividing 2 on both the sides. So we are getting the final value of y is equal to 5 here. Is that clear? Moving to one more question, one more sub part of it, which says x minus 3 x over 3 minus 1 is equal to 4. So as I told you that we always try to keep the variables on one side. So in that case, what we do, either there are two ways of solving it. One is we can shift minus 1 on the other side, or we can simply add 1 on both the sides. Correct? So I'm going to teach you with both the methods. So if I talk about the method 1 of solving this, it goes as, when we are going to add 1 on both the sides, so it is going to be 4 plus 1 on the right hand side. Further, if I talk about, we'll get x over 3. X over 3 is equal to 5. So now we are going to multiply with 3 on both the sides. So it is going to be x is equal to 3 multiplied with 5, and we will be getting the value of x is equal to 15. That's the method 1 of solving it. Now, if we talk about that, what is the method 2 of solving the same question? So, as per the method 2, what we can do here is we can take the lowest common multiple here. right? Firstly, we can write this as x over 3 minus 1 over 1 is equal to 4. So clearly, if I talk about the lowest common multiple, it is going to be 3 here. So x minus 3 is equal to 4. Now we will be multiplying with 3 on both the sides. So on the left hand side, after multiplying with 3, we will be left with only x minus 3. While on the other side, we will have 4 multiplied with 3. So x minus 3 is equal to 12 and we will get x is equal to 12 plus 3. Right? So we will be getting x is equal to 15. So you can use any of the method that you wish to, but we are going to get the same answer. Clear? Moving to the D sub part, again we can use any of the approach that we wish to, right? So if we talk about x over 5 will be equal to 1 minus 2 as we are subtracting 2 on both the sides. After that, if we talk about, we are getting x over 5 is equal to minus 1. So clearly x is going to be equal to 5 multiplied with minus 1, that is equal to minus 5. Clear? Moving to the E sub part here, we need to get the value of x. So what we will do, we are going to multiply with 3 over 2 on both the sides. So the idea is, the entire goal that we are going to have here is, we need to separate x on the left hand side. So it is not a hard and fast rule that yes, we should always and always have x on the left hand side. It is fine even if it is on the right hand side, but we always prefer that we are keeping x on the left hand side. Is that clear? So here if I talk about, this goes as 2x over 3 is equal to 5. So let's multiply with 3 over 2 on both the sides. So this is going to be 2x over 3 multiplied with 3 over 2 is equal to 5 multiplied with 3 over 2. So if I talk about what we are getting here is, we are left with only x on the left hand side, while if we talk about the term that we have on the right hand side is 15 over 2, which is going to be your answer to the question here. Moving to the next sub part, which is the F sub part of the question. So again, if we need to get the value of x here, we are going to multiply with 4 over 3 on both the sides. So that means we are going to get the value of x is equal to 24 over 3, which is nothing but 8. Understood? Easy question. Moving to the G sub part here. So as we can see that we have the variable which is x on the left hand side as well as on the right hand side. So we need to do the operations in such a manner that we can bring all the variables on one side. Okay, so firstly, if I talk about what we are going to do is, we are going to multiply 3 on both the sides and then we are going to multiply with 7 on both the sides. Okay. So once I am going to multiply with 3 on both the sides here, right? So this is going to give you 7 plus 2x. Let me just write it on one side so that we have enough space for solving the question. So here if I talk about, this is going to be, if I am going to multiply with 3 on both the side, it is going to be 3 multiplied with 7 plus 2x over 3 is equal to 3 multiplied with 9x minus 1 over 7. So clearly on the left hand side, we are left with 7 plus 2x, correct? Now, and in the next step, we are going to multiply with 7 on both the sides. So that means if we are going to multiply it with 7 on both the sides, so it is going to be 7 multiplied with 7 plus 2x is equal to 7 multiplied with 3 multiplied with 9x minus 1 over 7. So clearly 7 and 7 can be eliminated. So here if I talk about, we will be left with 7 multiplied with 7 plus 2x is equal to 3 multiplied with 9x minus 1. That is what we are going to have here. So this is going to be 49 plus 14x is equal to 27x minus 3 is what we have. So now let's just bring all the terms with a variable on one side while all the constants on the other side. So in order to solve this question, what we are going to do next is, let's bring all the variables on the left hand side. So this is going to be 14x minus 27x. Right, while if I talk about what we are going to get on the right hand side comprises of minus 3, and as it is 49 on the left hand side, when we are going to bring it on the right hand side, it is going to be minus 49. Yes, so further if we are just going to solve it, we are getting this as minus 13x is equal to minus 52. So in order to get the value of x, we are going to divide with minus 13 on both the sides. So this is going to be, we will be getting the value of x as nothing but 4 here. Is that clear? That is the answer that we are getting for this question. I hope that we have understood it. Moving to one more question of the similar type, right? So we are going to be really fast while doing it as we have understood the concept now. So firstly, we are going to do the cross multiply. So if we just observe one thing in this question, that clearly from 7 plus 2x, we have multiplied this 7, right? That is what we can observe here in this particular step. And we have multiplied 9x minus 1 with 3. So we also call this as nothing but the cross multiplication. Okay. When we know this thing, that whole 7 is getting divided with something. In that case, we can just take this 7 on the other side of the equal to and multiply it there. Okay. So the same thing we are going to follow here as well, that we are going to multiply 6 with 2x plus 3 and we are going to multiply 4 with 4x minus 2. That is what we are going to do here. So this is going to be equal to 12x plus 18 is equal to 16x minus 8. That is what we are going to get here, right? So bringing all the variables on one side, it is going to be 12x minus 16x is equal to minus 8 minus 18. Clear? So if we talk about this is going to be minus 4x, and if we talk about solving minus 8 minus 18, it is going to be equal to minus 26. Correct? So if we talk about finding the value of x, that is going to be minus 26 over minus 4. So further, if we are going to solve it, it is going to be equal to 13 over 2. Clear? I hope that we have understood that how we are going to solve any linear equation. Clear? Now, moving forward, let's just say that we need to construct the equation. We are given with certain information and we need to construct the linear equation. How are we going to do it? And just in case, taking an example here, right, what actually happens whenever we are understanding or whenever we are solving the question in practical applications of mathematics, equation often needs to be constructed before they can be solved. The necessary information is usually provided within the context of the problem or through a diagram. So let's understand this thing, that how the information is conveyed to us in the case of linear equation or in the case of solving any kind of equation, that how the information is conveyed to us and how are we going to form the equations from it. So taking the first example here, construct an equation in terms of x and solve the equation. So now, definitely whenever we are solving it, we need to have some information with us. It is not only that 100% of the information will be provided in the question, but yes, you need to have some knowledge prior as well. Okay. So here if I talk about what we can observe here is that in the diagram we are being provided with the 3 angles of the triangle, right? Now, in order to get the value of x, right, we need to have some prerequisites here that says that what is going to be the sum of all angles of a triangle. As it is not mentioned in the question, so you are going to solve this particular part on your own. Okay, so if I talk about sum of all angles of a triangle, is equal to 180 degree, right? So clearly if I talk about x plus 30 plus x plus 20 will be equal to 180 degree, right? This is what we can write now according to the question. So we are getting this as 3x plus 50 is equal to 180 degree. So we are getting 3x is equal to 180 minus 50 degree. Correct? So we are getting 3x is equal to 130 degree. That is what we are getting here. So in order to get the value of x, it is going to be 130 over 3. That is the value of x that we are going to get here. I hope that we are clear. Yes? Moving to one more question, right? Here the question says, by constructing an equation and solving it, find the value of x in each of these isosceles triangles. So it is given that it is an isosceles triangle. Now, the prerequisites here are that we need to have this information that the sides of an isosceles triangle are equal. The two sides are equal. So here it is mentioned by the sign that yes, the given two sides of the isosceles triangle are equal. So clearly we can say this thing, that 2x plus 40 will be equal to 6x minus 84. Correct? So in that case it is going to be 40. Let me just shift it. So it is going to be 2x minus 6x will be equal to minus 84 minus 40. So we'll get minus 4x is equal to minus 124. So in order to get the value of x, it is going to be minus 124 over minus 4. So that means we are getting the value of x as nothing but 31. Clear? Now as the unit is not mentioned here, you can skip putting the unit, but just in case you are being provided with a unit, you are definitely going to write it here. Clear? Moving to the next question, we need to calculate the value of x here. As we can see that the given diagram is a rectangle. So now the requirement here is that you should know that what is the formula for finding the area here, right? So area, if I talk about area of rectangle is equal to length multiplied by the breadth. So here the area is given as 77 and the length here is x plus 9 and the breadth here is 7. So let's just write it. So this is going to be by dividing 7 on both the sides. We are getting x plus 9 is equal to 11. So if we need to get the value of x, that is going to be 11 minus 9. So we are getting value of x is equal to 2 here. Is that clear? Moving to the next question, the interior angles of a regular pentagon sum to 540. So see, here you are being given with this information that the sum of interior angles of a pentagon is 540. But just in case you are not provided with this information, in that case you should know the formula for finding the sum of the interior angles, right? So the formula for sum of interior angles of a polygon is actually n minus 2 multiplied with 180 degree. That is a formula for finding the sum of the interior angles of a polygon. Clear? So just in case you were not being provided with it, so you should know this formula, right? So n is going to be 5 here, so 5 minus 2 is 3. So 3 multiplied with 180 is 540 degree, and that is what you are being provided in the question. So now we are being given with the 5 angles of the pentagon and we need to get the value of x here. So we know this thing that the sum of all angles of the pentagon, that means the sum of all these 5 angles is going to be equal to 540, right? So let's just write it. It is going to be x plus 40 plus 3x minus 50 plus 110 plus 3x minus 130 plus 4x plus 20 is equal to 540 degree. That is what we have as information. Now let's just find out that how we are going to, let's just club the variables, the terms with variables. X, 4x plus 3x is going to be 7x plus 4x is going to be equal to 11x, right? Further, if we are just going to solve the variable, the constants here, right? So what are we getting here? So 40 plus 110 is 150, minus 50 is 100 degrees, 100 plus 20, 100 plus 20 is 120 minus 130 is minus 10 is equal to 540. So we are getting 11x is equal to 540 plus 10. So we are getting 11x is equal to 550. So we are getting the value of x as nothing but 550 over 11. So that is coming out to be 50 degrees. So that is the value of x that we are going to get here. Is that clear? Yes? Now, moving to the next topic here, which is simultaneous equation. Let's say that so far we have understood in the questions that if we are being provided with just one variable and with that the highest power is 1 of that particular variable, how are we going to get this value? But now let's just talk about what if we are being provided with two variables in an equation. How are we going to get the value of those two variables? So there comes the concept of simultaneous equation. Okay. So if we talk about the simultaneous equations, they are actually the ones where if we talk about they are going to be two variables. There can be more than two as well. And if we talk about for solving a simultaneous equation with two variables, you need two equations. Clear? Understanding it with the help of the theory first, right? Then we'll move on to the examples. The first point here says, in this method, add or subtract the equations to obtain an equation in one variable. So what we generally do in order to solve these equations using the elimination method. As the name itself says here that we need to eliminate any particular term. right? So how we are going to eliminate it? We can either add something, we can multiply something, we can divide, we can subtract, whatever. Usually we are going to add and subtract the two different equations that we'll have, okay? But yes, prior to that we might need to multiply or divide the equations with something, okay? So we'll be able to understand it once we move to the questions. If the coefficients of one variable are the same but have opposite signs, add the equations to eliminate that variable. So we are going to focus on that, how we can eliminate that particular variable. If the coefficients of one variable are same and have the same sign, subtract them. So if the coefficients of any one variable they are same and they have the same sign, then subtract them, right? So after that, let's just understand this thing with the help of an example, right? Let's solve a question on this. Just in case that we need to solve that if x plus y is equal to 6 and x minus y is equal to 2. Firstly, let me write both the equations here. So the equation here says x plus y is equal to 6 and x minus y is equal to 2. Correct? So what we can observe here is that the variables are having the x is having the same sign and same value, the coefficient. If I talk about the coefficients of y, then they are having different sign, and if we talk about the value of the coefficient, that is same. So we can do anything. If we want to subtract, we can do that. If we want to add, we can do that. Okay, that is nowhere a problem for us. So clearly, let me just take it one with subtraction, and I'll take the second part as the addition. So let's take this as equation 1 and this as equation 2. So if we are doing 1 minus 2, so that is on the left hand side, it is going to be x plus y minus x minus y, while on the right hand side, it is going to be 6 minus 2. So this is going to be nothing but x plus y minus x plus y is equal to 4. So we are going to get 2y is equal to 4 and the value of y will be equal to 2. Correct? And now if we need to get the value of x, right? So from 1 what we can do is, or we can say this thing. So simply from 1 if we talk about, I'll just put the value of y is equal to 2 there. So x plus 2 will be equal to 6. So we will be getting x is equal to 6 minus 2. So we'll get x is equal to 4. So this is how we have solved the equation and we have got the value of both the variables that was required here. Clear? Now moving to the B sub part of the question. Firstly, let's just write it in a way. The first equation is x plus y is equal to 11, while the second equation is x minus y is equal to 1. Okay, so it is minus 1 on the left hand side. Once we are going to get it on the right hand side, it is going to be a plus 1, right? Now, in the previous one, we have subtracted. Now, this time, let's add both of them. Okay, so let's just do equation 1 plus equation 2. So that is going to be x plus y plus x minus y is equal to 11 plus 1. Right, so this is going to be 2x is equal to 12 and we are getting the value of x is equal to 6. So now you can substitute the same value anywhere. So if we are just going to substitute it in equation 1, it is going to be 6 plus y is equal to 11. So y is going to be 11 minus 6, which is equal to 5 here. Clear? Understood? So these are going to be the values of what we have got as a final answer here, which says that x is equal to 6 and y is equal to 5. And the best thing when we are solving a question with simultaneous equations is that we can always cross verify our answer. So in the first equation, if I am going to put x is equal to 6 and y is equal to 5, are we getting 11? A big yes to it. So definitely our answer is correct. So you can check it with either of the equations. Now, moving to the next method, which is a substitution method. So, understanding that what are the steps for solving a question using substitution method says, in this method, substitute the values of one variable from one equation into the other equation. As the name itself says that we will be substituting something, and what are we going to substitute? We will be getting the value from one particular part and we'll be substituting it in the other equation. Further, this transforms the pair of linear equations into a single linear equations with one variable. The resulting equation can then be easily solved. So, there are some examples given, but let's just understand this thing with the help of examples. So, talking about in almost every paper you are going to get a question of simultaneous equations. Usually it is not mentioned that by which particular method you need to solve it, right? But yes, you are going to get the question on solving the simultaneous equation. So you can master on any of the method. So talking about the first question on this, right? So here we are being provided with the two equations. I'm just writing down the equations once. So this says 2x plus 3y is equal to 13, and the other equation is 2x minus 4y is equal to minus 8. Correct? So these are the two equations that we have here, right? So clearly if I talk about, if I'll just get the value, let's say this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. Yes, so firstly if I talk about, we can solve this equation using the elimination method as well, right? But here as we are going to learn the substitution method, so let's do one thing, that from equation 1, if we are just going to get the value of 3y, 3y is going to be, or if we are just getting the value of 2x, 2x will be equal to 13 minus 3y. So now we are just going to substitute this value of 2x in the equation 2. So the next step here is going to be substituting 2x in equation 2. Okay, so that is going to be 13 minus 3y minus 4y is equal to minus 8. So what we have got here is minus 7y plus 13 is equal to minus 8. So we are getting minus 7y is equal to minus 8 minus 13. So we are getting minus 7y is equal to minus 21. Correct? So if in order to get the value of y, it is going to be minus 21 over minus 7, that is equal to 3. So that is the value of x that we have got, that is the value of y that we have got. Now, in order to get the value of x, what we can do next here is, so in order to get the value of x, right, let's take this as equation 3. So substituting y in 3, correct? So what it is going to be, that 2x is equal to 13 minus 3 times 3, that is what it is going to be. So 2x is equal to 13 minus 9. So we are getting 2x is equal to 4, and the value of x is coming out to be 4 over 2, which is 2. So if I talk about the final values that we are getting here, so the value of x is equal to 2, while the value of y is equal to, so x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 3 is the final answer to this question. As I am running short of space, so that's why I have written it on top. Okay. Moving to one more question on this, right? Let's say that we need to solve these equations again by the substitution method. Okay. So here if I talk about, so first equation here goes as 2x plus 4y is equal to 50, while the second one goes as 2x plus y is equal to 20. So if I'm just going to get the value of 2x from the second equation, so from 2 if we talk about, so 2x is going to be equal to 20 minus y. So now we are going to simply do the substitution here. Substituting 2x in equation 1. So just in case, see, here I had 2x directly, that's why I am substituting 2x. But just in case you are getting only x there, then you will be finding out the value of x from this particular step. Clear? So here if I talk about, we are going to get it as 20 minus y plus 4y is equal to 50. So it is going to be 20 plus 3y is equal to 50, right? So that is going to be 3y is equal to 30. So we are getting y is equal to 10 here. That is what we are getting. Clear? Now if we need to get the value of x here, we are simply going to substitute y. So let's take this as equation 3. So the next is substituting y in equation 3. So that is going to be 2x is equal to 20 minus 10. So we are going to get 2x is equal to 10. So value of x is going to be 10 over 2, which is 5. Correct? So this is what we are going to get as a value of x and y. So we are getting x is equal to 5 while we are getting y is equal to 10 here. Is that clear? I hope that we have understood how we are going to solve this simultaneous equation by using the substitution method. So we will be solving the previous year questions as well on this, that how the question comes in your exams. Okay, now moving forward, let's understand that how we can solve the quadratic equation by factorizing. So let's firstly understand that what are the steps to it. So consider the quadratic equation of ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, right? Just in case it is not equated to 0, you can do it by using some transpositions here. Then the next step says find two numbers whose product is AC and sum equal to B. So we need to find out two numbers whose product is equal to the coefficient of x square and the coefficient of and the constant, right? And the other condition that you need to match here is that their sum needs to be equal to B. Okay. Now, the next step is split the middle term bx using these two numbers. Factorize the equation by grouping and simplifying. Okay, so let's understand this thing with the help of an example. So here if I talk about writing this equation, how we can write it? We can simply write it as 1x square plus 3x minus 10 is equal to 0. It can be written like this. So further, if we need to talk here, then a is equal to 1, right? B is equal to 3 and C is equal to minus 10. So what it was saying that we need to get this product of AC. If I talk about the product of AC, it is going to be minus 10. We need to write minus 10 in such a manner that by adding them, we should get 3, right? So in that case, if I talk about the factors of minus 10 by which we are going to get 3 here is, let's just write them. It can be, firstly, let's just write all the pairs here. It can be 1 and minus 10, but from 1 and minus 10, we don't get 3, right? The other can be 2 and minus 5 as well. So if I talk about by solving 2 and minus 5, we are not going to get 3 by adding them, right? But if I am going to have minus 2 and 5, in that case, we are going to get 3 by adding them, correct? So what we are going to do here next is 1x square is plus 3x. So I am going to split this middle term, right? Whatever the middle term or whatever the coefficient of x that you can see, we are going to split it in such a manner that both the parts comprises of the factors of AC. Okay, so if we are going to write it as plus 5x minus 2x. If I talk about solving 5x minus 2x, that is nothing but 3x. Minus 10 is equal to 0. Now, let's just do some regrouping here. How we are going to do it? Let me just erase this particular part. So if I talk about, I can make one group like this, right? And the other group can be this as well. So understanding this thing here, x can be common here. We can write it as x plus 5. Further, we can have minus 2 common here. And in the bracket, we can again have x plus 5, which is equal to 0. So if I talk about the factors here, that is going to be x minus 2 and x plus 5. So we did this thing in the previous session as well, that how we get this, right? This was a part of regrouping that we have learned in the previous sessions, correct? So you can refer to that in order to have better understanding on why we are writing it in like this. Moving to the next part here, which says that we are having it as x square minus 2x minus 63. So this time we need to get the factors of minus 63, right? So AC is equal to minus 63. So we need to do the factors of minus 63 now. So it is going to be 7 multiplied with 9. If I talk about, so minus 7 multiplied with 9 is going to give you plus 2. Minus 63, and if we talk about adding them, it will give you plus 2. But the one that if we are going to use it as 7 and minus 9, it will give us minus 2. So we will write it as x square minus 9x plus 7x minus 63. So it is going to be x minus 9 plus 7 x minus 9. So this is x plus 7 multiplied with x minus 9. These are the two factors of the given quadratic expression. Clear? Moving to one more part here, right? Let's say that we have x square plus 3x minus 54. So this time we are going to do the factors of 50 minus 54. So they are going to be 9 and 6. So this is going to be plus 9x minus 6x minus 54 is equal to 0. So we'll have x common, which is going to be x plus 9 in the bracket, minus 6 is going to be common, giving x plus 9 in the bracket again. So the factors here are going to be x minus 6 and x plus 9. Clear? Understood? Okay, moving to one more part on this, which says that 25x square is equal to 64. So here if I talk about, if we need to do the factors here, 25x square minus 64 is equal to 0. This can further be written as 5x whole square minus 8 square is equal to 0. So if I talk about the factors, it is going to be 5x minus 8 and 5x plus 8. So this is actually the difference of the two square numbers. That is a property being used in this specific question. Clear? Now, moving to the next question, which says that x square minus 1 over 9. So this can be written as the square of 1 over 3. Again, we are going to use the property of square, the difference of two square numbers. So this is going to give you x minus 1 over 3 multiplied with x plus 1 over 3. That is what we are going to get here after solving them. Right? So if I talk about the property that we are using here is a square minus b square is equal to a plus b multiplied with a minus b. Clear? Okay. Now, moving to the next question here, where again we need to factorize. It says 3x square minus 12 minus 288 is equal to 0. So this is going to be 3x square minus, if we are just going to solve it, it is coming out to be 300 is equal to 0. So we can just take out 3 common here. This is going to be x square minus 100 is equal to 0. So that is going to be x square minus 100 is equal to 0. Further, 100 can be written as 10 square. So this is going to be x square minus 10 square is equal to 0, giving you the factors as x minus 10 and x plus 10. Clear? Okay, now moving forward, let's have one more question on this, right? Let's read the question firstly. What the question here says, in the following questions, construct equation from the information given and then solve for the unknown. So we are being given with certain information. Firstly, we need to make the equation, as we have learnt about that how we can construct any particular equation. And after that, we have to solve it further. So talking about the first equation, as it says, when a number x is added to its square, the total is 12. When we are going to add a number to its square, we are getting the sum is equal to 12. We need to find the two possible values of x. So if I talk about this, can be written as x square plus x minus 12 is equal to 0. Right. So further, if I talk about, I can split minus 12 as 4 and minus 3. So this can be written like this. So we can take out x common, it is going to be x plus 4, minus 3 common, it is going to be x plus 4 is equal to 0. So if I talk about the factors here, they are x minus 3 and x plus 4 equal to 0. Now, in order to get the two possible values of x here, when we are getting the product of two numbers equal to 0, we know this thing that at least one of them needs to be 0. So what we will do, for once we will do x minus 3 is equal to 0. We will get the value of x is equal to 3. In the second case, what we are going to do here is we will be keeping x plus 4 is equal to 0 and we will get the value of x is equal to minus 4. So if I talk about that, what are the possible values of x here are. So if I talk about the possible values of x here are, they are 3 and minus 4. Clear? Moving to the next subpart of the question, which says a right angle triangle has a base of length x centimeter and a height of x minus 1 centimeter. So let's just firstly make the triangle here. So there is a right angle triangle and it has a base of x centimeter and the height is x minus 1 centimeter. And the area is 15 centimeters. So if we talk about a right angle triangle, we know this thing that area area of triangle is equal to half multiplied with the base multiplied with the height, that is x minus 1 here, and the area is given to us equal to 15. So what we have got here is x square minus x over 2 is equal to 15. So this can be written as x square minus x is equal to 30. Further, we can write it as x square minus x minus 30 is equal to 0. So now we need to do the factors of minus 30 such that we are getting minus 1. So let me just do it here. So it is going to be simply x square minus 6x plus 5x minus 30 is equal to 0. So it is going to be x minus 6 plus 5 x minus 6 is equal to 0. So later on we are going to get the factors as x plus 5 and we are going to get the factor as x minus 6 equal to 0. So if I talk about the two possible values of x that we are getting here is minus 5 and 6. So clearly we know this thing that the length can never be negative, right? So we are going to just simply neglect this and the final value of x is going to be equal to 6 here. Okay, so just writing the final answer here. So x is going to be equal to 6. That is the final answer to the question. Clear? Okay, now moving to the next question here, right? So this is an interesting question for you. A number squared has the number squared then doubled added to it. The total is 300. Find the two possible values for the number. Now understanding the question, a number squared has a number squared then doubled. So there is a number which is x, so it is squared, and then has a number squared and doubled. So again we are going to do the square of it and then we are going to do double of it. Now it is added to it. Okay, so it is added to it, and if we talk about the total of it that we are getting here is nothing but 300. So that means we have got 3x square is equal to 300. X square is equal to 100. So if I talk about the value of x here, that is going to be the square root of 100. Right? So whenever we are doing square root of any number, we know this thing that we get two values, which is one is a positive value while other is a negative value. So in that case, if we talk about the value of x here, that is going to be plus 10 and minus 10. So both the values will be accepted here. Just in case the question is saying that what is going to be the positive value of x, so you will say simply 10. If the question is saying what is the possible negative value of x, so you will say minus 10. But just in case it is not mentioned in the question that you need to tell a positive value or a negative value, then in that case it is mandatory for you to write both the values. Okay, just in case you are going to miss on any of the value, you will be missing on your marks then. Okay. Now, moving to the next question here, which says, let's read the question together. A rectangular garden has square flower bed of side length x centimeter. In one of the corners, the remainder of the garden consists of a lawn and has dimensions as shown. If the total area of the lawn is 50 meters square, form an equation in terms of x. Solve the equation and calculate the length and width of the whole garden. Right? So, firstly, if I talk about what we can understand firstly, that in order to get the if the total area of the lawn is 50 meters square. So firstly, if I talk about what we can understand, that the area of this entire rectangular garden. So area of rectangular garden is going to be equal to, the length is x plus 7 here, while if I talk about the width, it is going to be x plus 2. So that is x plus 7 multiplied with x plus 2, that is what we are going to get. So let's multiply, it is going to be x square plus 7x plus 2x plus 14. So we are going to get the area of the rectangular garden as x square plus 9x plus 14. Correct. Further, if I talk about that what is going to be the area of the flower bed. So if I talk about, I'm just writing it here. Area of flower bed is going to, as it is a square, it is going to be x multiplied with x, which is going to be x square. Correct. Now further, if I need to find out the area of the lawn, so if I need to find out that what is going to be the area of lawn, I'm just writing it on top. Area of lawn is going to be the area of the rectangle minus the area of flower bed. So that is going to be x square plus 9x plus 14 minus x square. Right, and it is given in the question that it is equal to 50 meters square. right? So we are going to get this as 9x plus 14 is equal to 50. So we are getting 9x is equal to 50 minus 14. So we are getting 9x is equal to 36. So we are getting the value of x is equal to 4 here. Correct? So form an equation in terms of x. If we need to just form the equation of the total area, so the equation for the total area is going to be 9x plus 14 equal to 50, right? If we need to get the value of x, it is going to be equal to 4. Further, if I talk about solve the equation, so we have already solved the equation here that we are getting x is equal to 4. And we need to get the length and the width of the whole garden. So clearly if I talk about the length here is x plus 7, which is going to be 4 plus 7, that is 11 meters. And if we talk about that what is going to be the width of the garden, that is going to be x plus 2, which is 4 plus 2, that is 6 meters. So that is going to be the length and the width of the garden. Clear? Now, moving to the next important thing, just in case that this might happen, and this is definitely going to happen, that many of the times you are not going to get the roots of the of any quadratic equation as the whole numbers or as the integers. Just in case if that is a scenario where you are not able to find any number for which you need to do the product, and then you are going to add and subtract them, and you are getting it as a middle term. That means in some of the questions it is going to happen that you will not be able to solve them by using the middle term splitter. In that case, we are going to use the quadratic formula. So if I talk about this quadratic formula, it is actually the universal formula that can be used to solve any quadratic equation. Let it be the quadratic equation that we have solved using the middle term or any new type of equation, we can solve it using the quadratic formula always. Okay, so talking about that, we are being given with the equation which is ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. We need to get the roots of it, right? So in that case, if we need to get the roots of it, it is going to be, roots of it means the solution of it or the values of x that we talk about. So that is going to be, we will be using the formula as x is equal to minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac over 2a. Okay. So if we talk about, it can be used for all quadratic equations that have real solutions even if the quadratic expression cannot be factorized. Okay. So you can use it for all the quadratic expressions that have the real solutions. Understood? So this formula is going to be of utmost importance for you. Okay, moving forward, let's just understand this thing that if we need to solve a question on this, how are we going to do it? So if I talk about the values here, we can see this thing that a is equal to 1, while if we talk about the value of b is equal to minus 1, while c is equal to minus 13. The formula here says that x is equal to minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac over 2a. Correct? So that is going to be, let's substitute the values here. So we are going to get it as 1 plus minus square root of b square is going to be minus 1 square minus 4 multiplied with 1 multiplied with minus 13 over 2 multiplied with 1. That is what we are getting here. Yes, so it is going to be 1 plus minus square root of 13 multiplied with 4 is going to be 52. So it is going to be 1 minus 1 plus 52, which is going to be 53 over 2. Right, so here if I talk about the two roots that we are getting here for this is, one root is going to be 1 plus root 53 over 2. And if I talk about the other root that we are getting here is 1 minus root 53 over 2. So these are the two values of x that we are getting here. Okay, so definitely we know this thing, we are not going to get this value using the middle term split up. Clear? Moving to some more questions on it in order to have some practice about this topic, right? Just in case that we need to solve the following quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. So here we are getting a is equal to 2, we are getting b is equal to minus 3, we are getting c is equal to minus 4. So again, in order to get the value of x, it is going minus b. So that is going to minus of minus 3 plus minus square root of b square, which is minus 3 square minus 4 multiplied with a multiplied with c over 2a. That is going to be 2 multiplied with 2. So we are getting this as 3 plus minus square root of 9, 16 and 32. So this is going to be 9 plus 32 over 4. So if I talk about the two possible values that we are getting here, so the two possible values here are going to be x is equal to 3 plus root 41 over 4, and the other value is going to be 3 minus root 41 over 4. Clear? This is how we are going to get the two possible solutions here. Moving forward, if we talk about in this question, what we can observe that the value of a is equal to 4, b is equal to 2, c is equal to minus 5. So let's find out that x is going to be minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4a, and then we have a c over 2a, right? So we are getting the value of x is equal to minus 2 plus minus square root of 4 minus, so this is going to 4 times 4 is 16, 16 times 5 is 80 over 8. So this is going to be x is equal to minus 2 plus minus square root of 84 over 8. So if I talk about the two solutions that we are going to get here are x is going to be equal to minus 2 plus root 84 over 8, and the other is going to be x is equal to minus 2 minus root 84 over 8. So this is going to be the possible solutions of the quadratic equation that we are being provided with. Clear? Now, moving to the next thing that we have are the linear inequalities, that how we are going to write anything in terms of the linear inequalities. So, represent inequalities on the number line. Use a straight line to depict the range of numbers. Indicate the end points with either an open circle or closed circle. So, let's just understand that when are we going to make an open circle and when are we going to make a closed circle, right? So, the open circle here implies that the number is not included in the solution. So, whenever the number is not included, we are going to have an open circle, and whenever we are going to see a solid circle here, right, or a closed circle, that means that number is included. And when we put the inequality sign will comprise of the equal to there. Understood? Moving, understanding some example on this here. In the first example, it says n is greater than minus 1. It is not saying n is greater than or equal to minus 1. So clearly, if n is greater than minus 1, then minus 1 is not included in the solution. So that means we are going to have an open circle on minus 1. And then as we are talking about the greater part of it, so we are going to move towards the right hand side. So that is what it is happening here, that minus 1 is not included while we are talking about the greater than it. So we are moving towards the right side. Now talking about the second one, it says n is less than or equal to. So whenever the equal to sign comes, that means we are going to have a closed circle. That is what we can see here. Later, as it is talking about the value which is less than it. So when we say the value less than it, we are going to move towards the left hand side. So this is what we have got here. Now, if we are being given with a certain range that yes, n is lying between minus 1 and 3. So here it says that it is not equal to either minus 3 or 3. Right? So in that case, both of the places we are going to have an open circle. Right? So it is going to have an open circle at minus 1 and at 3. And this is going to be the value here. Understood? Moving forward, let's just understand this thing with the help of some examples. So here it says x minus 3 is less than 4. So in that case, clearly we can see this thing that x is going to be less than 4 plus 3 by adding 3 on both the sides. So we are getting x less than 7. So just in case we need to make it on the number line. Right? So what we are going to have, because it does not comprises of an equality sign. So clearly if I talk of, we are going to make an open circle here. Let's just make it on top. We are going to make an open circle as we are talking about the values to the less than that. So we are going to include the values towards the left of it. Clear? Moving to one more example here, it says x minus 6 is greater than or equal to minus 8. Let's add 6 on both the sides. So it is going to be x is greater than or equal to minus 8 plus 6. So we will get x is greater than or equal to minus 2. So while making it on the number line, right? So as it includes minus 2, it is greater than or equal to minus 2. So on minus 2, we are going to have a solid circle. while it is greater than, so we are going to have the numbers towards the right of it. Clear? Moving to the next example, which says x over 2 is less than 1. So on that note, we can say that x is less than 2. So while plotting it on the number line, so as we are talking about the numbers to be less than 2, so and there isn't any equal to sign, so we are going to make a hollow circle here or an open circle, and we will be including this particular part. Is that clear? Now, moving to the next cases here, find the range of values for which the following inequalities are satisfied. Illustrate each solution on the number line. Right, so we need to find out that what is going to be the solution of it. So firstly, if I talk about the range here, if I'm just going to divide this complete inequality by 2, I am going to get this as 2 is less than x is less than equal to 4. So clearly the value of x is varying between 2 and 4. So in order to make it on the number line, we'll have it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here in order to make it, what it is going to be, so x is going to be between 2 and 4 here. So 2 is not included, but 4 is included. So we are going to have a closed circle on 4 while an open circle on 2. Clear? Moving to the next part, which says that we need to have we need to find the range of x here. So what we will do here is we are going to just separate x first. So how we can do it? By dividing it the entire inequality by 2. So this is going to be 7 over 2 is less than equal to x is less than equal to is less than 5. So again, if I talk about 7 over 2 is nothing but 3.5. So 3.5 is less than equal to x is less than 5. So we will have it as, so I am making it freehand for now, but you are going to use your scale for making it. So 3.5, if I talk about, 3.5 is included, right? So this is 3.5 here, while 5 is not included. So we are going to have a hollow circle here. Is that clear? Moving to the next question now, which says that we have 5 less than 3x plus 2 is less than equal to 17. So firstly, let's just subtract 2 on all the sides, right? So this is going to be 5 minus 2 is less than 3x is less than equal to 17 minus 2. So this is 3 is less than 3x is less than equal to 15. Now let's divide by 3 on all the sides. So it is going to be, this is what we are going to get as a result. So that means x is lying between, so here if I talk about, this is going to be 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here it is going to be x is 1 is not included while 5 is included. So a closed circle on 5 while an open circle at 1. I hope that we have understood this particular question. Now moving on to the next one. So the next that we have here is a previous year question from the paper of February-March 24 from the variant 2-2. So here the question says x square minus 16x plus a can be written in the form x plus b whole square. Find the value of a and the value of b. So if we need to get the value of a and b here, so firstly if I talk about, I'm just noting down the equation first. This can be written as x square minus 2 multiplied with 8 multiplied with x, right? So clearly if I talk about the form which says as a minus b whole square, that is a square minus 2ab plus b square. So clearly if I talk about, if I have got it as a square here, right, minus 2ab here, then this is going to be 8 squared in order to make it the whole square identity. So clearly if I talk about writing this here, so this is going to be nothing but x square minus 2 multiplied with 8 multiplied with x plus 64, which is going to be equal to x plus minus 8 wholes, the whole square of it, right? So if I talk about, we can see it, we can get the value of a here. So the value of a that we are getting here is coming out to be 64. While if I talk about the value of b here, that is coming out to be minus 8. Clear? Moving to one more question from the paper of February March 24 from the variant 3-2. So it is going to be, so we can see this the two equations here as minus 6x minus y is equal to 13, while the second equation is 8x plus y is equal to minus 51. So firstly, let's just add both these equations, right? So what we are going to do, the next step that we are going to follow is 1 plus 2. We are going to simply add both these equations. So this is going to be minus 6x plus 8x on the left hand side. Okay, let's continue with minus y plus y is equal to 13 plus minus 51 is what we are getting. So here we are left with 2x is equal to, what if we are going to do 51 and 30? So we are going to get it as minus 38. So the value of x that we are getting here is minus 19. Now substituting the value here, so what we are going to do here is substituting x in any of the equation, you can put it as in 1 if I talk about. So that is going to minus 6 multiplied with minus 19 minus y is equal to 13, right? So let's just do the calculation. What are we getting here? So let's use the calculator in order to get the calculations. So 114 minus y is equal to 13. So we are getting the value of y is equal to 101 here. So this is how we are going to solve the simultaneous equation. And this is not the only question. You are going to get lots and lots of questions on simultaneous equation. So here the method that we have used in order to solve the question, here is the elimination method. Clear? Moving to the next question, which is from the paper of February March 24 from the variant 3-2. The question here says find an expression for the area of the rectangle. Give your answer in the form x square plus ax plus b. So if I talk about, we know this thing that the area of rectangle is length multiplied by breadth. So that is going to be x minus 2 multiplied with x plus 5. So this is going to be x square minus 2x plus 5x minus 10. So if I talk about the area here, that is going to be x square plus 3x minus 10. Clear? So here if we need to write it, we can write it as x square plus 3x plus minus 10, where if I talk about the value of a here is going to be equal to 3, while the value of b is going to be equal to minus 10. That is how we are going to write the values here. Clear? Moving to the next question, which is again a question from the paper of February March 24 from the variant 4-2, where we need to factorize them, right? So talking about the first one, we can do it by using the factors as x square minus 4x plus 3x minus 12. So x is going to be common, x minus 4 plus 3 and x minus 4. So that is going to be x plus 3, x minus 4, these are going to be the factors. Now further, if I talk about, as we have got the factors for the denominator here, right? Further, if I talk about the numerator, that is going to be x square minus 4 square, while in the denominator, we have already got the factors as x plus 3 and x minus 4. So x square minus 4 square can be solved by using the identity, where we can find the difference of the two squares. So this is going to be x minus 4 multiplied with x plus 4 over x plus 3 multiplied with x minus 4. So the answer is going to be x plus 4 over x plus 3. Understood? Moving to the next question here, right, which is from the paper of February March 24 from the variant 4-2, where we need to write it as a single fraction in the simplest form. So clearly in that case, we need to get the lowest common multiple firstly, right? So that is going to be x plus 1 multiplied with x minus 3, while here we are going to have 2x plus 4 multiplied with x minus 3 minus x multiplied with x plus 1. Okay, so here if I talk about after multiplying, it is going to be 2x square minus 6x plus 4x minus 12 minus x square minus x over x square minus 3x plus x minus 3. Further, if we are going to solve it, we are going to get this as 2x square minus x square is going to give you x square, minus 6x plus 4x is minus 2x minus x is going to give you minus 3x minus 12 over x square minus 2x minus 3. That is how we are going to write it in the simplest form here. Understood? Moving to the next subpart, next question here, which is from the paper of May-June 24 from the variant 1-1. So here the diagram shows a rectangle with length 3x minus 12 and width x plus 7. Find an expression for the perimeter of the rectangle. Give your answer in the simplest form. So if we talk about solving it, we know this thing that the perimeter of the rectangle is nothing but twice of length plus the breadth. So twice, if we talk about the length here is 3x minus 12, while the breadth is x plus 7. So that is equal to twice of 4x minus 5. So which is nothing but 8x minus 10. So that is the answer. Further, if we need to solve it, we can just take out 2 common and write it as 4x minus 5. Entirely our choice, not mandatory here. Understood? Moving to the next question here, which is where we need to solve the simultaneous equation. As I told you that we get multiple questions from simultaneous equation, and in every paper you're going to get one. So that is from the paper of May-June 24 from the variant 1-1. So we need to solve this simultaneous equation by showing all our workings here. So in order to solve the simultaneous equation, what we can do here is, let's take this as equation 1, right, and this as equation 2. Okay, further, let's just multiply the equation 2 with 2, right? So what we are going to do, I'm multiplying equation 2 with 2. So in that case, I'm going to get it as 6x minus 8y is equal to 34. That is what we are getting after multiplying equation 2 with 2, right? So here if I talk about later on, if I'll just have a look here, this was the first equation that we had. I'm just writing it under this, correct? So further, if I talk about, if I'm going to subtract these two equations, let's take this as equation 3 now. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's do equation 3 minus equation 1. Okay, so here what we are going to get as a result, 6x minus 6x is going to be 0. Minus 8y minus 2y will give you minus 10y. 34 minus 29 will give you 5. So we are going to get the value of y is equal to 5 over minus 10. So that means we are getting the value of y is equal to minus 1 over 2. Understood? So now let's just substitute the value of y. Substituting y in any of the equation you can put, maybe in 1 itself. So that is going to be 6x plus 2 multiplied with minus 1 over 2 is equal to 29. So we are getting 6x is equal to 30 here. So we are getting the value of x is equal to 5. So these are the values, or this is a solution to the given simultaneous equation. I hope that we have understood this particular part. Moving to the next question, again we have a question from the paper of May-June 24 from the variant 1-3, right? So again we need to solve the simultaneous equation. So simply if we talk about, we are going to add both these equations in order to solve them. So this is going to be 5t minus 2w plus 3t plus twice of w is equal to 19 plus 5. So we will get 8t is equal to 24. So we are going to get the value of t is equal to 24 over 8, which is equal to 3. Right. Further, substituting this in t in equation 1. Right. So here if I am going to just we are taking this as equation 1 and this is your equation 2. So that is going to be equal to 5 multiplied with 3 minus twice of w is equal to 19. So that is minus twice of w is equal to 19 minus 15. So minus twice of w is equal to 4. So we are getting the value of w is equal to minus 2. And we have got t is equal to 3. So this is the solution to your given simultaneous equation. Is that clear? I hope that we are understanding all the questions that we are solving. Moving further, so we have already done this question. Okay, moving forward to one more question. This is an important question from your paper, which says that solve the simultaneous equation and you must show all your working. So this is from the paper of May June 24 from the variant 2-2. Understanding this question here, what we can observe that in this question, that in the two simultaneous equation, one equation is actually a quadratic equation, correct? So, but not at all a problem for us. We know the value of y. We can use a substitution method, right? So let's take this as equation 1 and this as equation 2. So what we will do is, we will simply be substituting 2 in equation 1. That is what we are going to follow here. So later on what it is going to be, that if I am going to put the value of y in equation 1, so that is going to be 4 multiplied with x square minus 18 plus 3x is equal to 13 is what we are getting. So this is going to be 4x square minus 72 plus 3x is equal to 13. So further on solving this, we are getting this as 4x square plus 3x minus 72 minus 13 is equal to 0 is what we are getting here. Let me just cross check the calculations once. 4x square minus 18 is what we have here. So that is 4x square minus 72 plus 3x. So minus 72 minus 13, yeah. So here if I talk about, we are getting it as 4x square plus 3x minus 85 is equal to 0, right? So now we need to do the factors in such a way that we are getting 3 here, right? So if I talk about the factors of 85 multiplied by 4, if we do, so 85 multiplied by 4, let me just do the calculation. What are we getting here? So 85 multiplied by 4 is going to give you 340. So talking about the factors of 340 such that we get 3 here are 20 and 17. So this is going to be 4x square plus 20x minus 17x minus 85 is equal to 0. So we'll get the factors as x plus 5 and minus 17, and then we'll have as x plus 5 is equal to 0. So we are getting here as 4x minus 17 and x plus 5 is equal to 0, correct? So clearly if I talk about the value of x that we are getting here is 17 over 4, and the other value of x that we are going to get here is minus 5. So now by substituting this value, you are going to get two values of y as well. Okay. So I'm just writing it on top now. So when x is equal to 17 over 4, in that case y is equal to 17 over 4 square minus 18. That is what we are going to get here, right? Let's do the calculation. What are we going to get after doing this? Let's do the calculation. So we are getting the value of y is equal to 289 minus 288 over 16. So this is coming out to be 1 over 16 is what we are getting as one value of y. And when x is equal to minus 5, in that case y is equal to minus 5 square minus 18, which is going to be 25 minus 18, where we are getting it as 7. So these are the possible combination, or these are the possible values of x and y that we are going to get. Clear? I hope that we have understood this question. Moving forward to the next question, which is a question from the paper of May June 24 from the variant 3-1. The diagram shows a regular pentagon with sides 15 centimeter. Work out the values of wx and y. So we know this thing that it is a regular pentagon. So clearly all the sides are going to be equal. So simply can we say this thing that 2w is going to be equal to 15? Yes. So simply twice of w is equal to 15. We are going to get the value of w as 15 over 2, which is 7.5 centimeter. Other than that, we also know this thing that 5 times of x plus 7 is also equal to 15. Right? So moving further, if I solve it, 5 times of x plus 7 is equal to 15. So that means we will get x plus 7 is equal to, by dividing with 5 on both the sides, it is going to be equal to 3, but the side can never be negative. but the value of x can be, right? So here if I talk about x is equal to 3 minus 7, we are getting the value of x is equal to minus 4. Understand that the side is can never be negative, but the value of x can be negative. Correct? So we are getting the value of x is equal to minus 4. We have got the value of w. Now in order to get the value of y, what we will do, w plus x plus y is equal to 15. So w plus x plus y is equal to 15. The value of w is 7.5. The value of x is minus 4 plus y is equal to 15. So y is equal to 15 minus 3.5. So y is going to be equal to 11.5. These are the values of x, y and w that we have got in the question. Clear? I hope that we have understood this particular question. Now moving to the next question. So here the next question says, which is a question from the paper of May-June 24 from the variant 4-2, where we need to factorize 2x squared plus x minus 3. So clearly if I talk about the factors of minus 6 can be 3x minus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. So that we can get x common and we'll have 2x plus 3 in the bracket, while we can have minus 1 common and have 2x plus 3 in the bracket. So the factors are going to be x minus 1 and 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. Clear? Now moving to the next question, which is from the paper of May-June 24 from the variant 4-2. So the first question was itself this one only that we have solved just now. Right, talking about the second one that we need to factorize here, we can take out 5a common and in the bracket we'll be left with 2a plus 1. So this is how we are going to do the factors of it. Moving forward to the next question, if we need to do the factors of it, this can be written as 2x minus 3 whole square minus 3 square. So we can use the formula for how we can find out the difference of two squares. So this is going to be 2x minus 3 and 2x minus 3 plus 3. So this is going to be equal to 2x minus 6 and equal to 2x, right? Further, I can just take out 2 common from here. So this is going to be 2 multiplied with x minus 3 and we can have 2 common from here as well. So that can be written like this. So further, we can write it as 4x multiplied with x minus 3. Understood? Moving to the next question here, which is again a previous year question from the paper of May-June 24 from the variant 4-2. So the question here says that in this question all the measurements are in centimeters. The area of the triangle is equal to the area of the square. Show that 3r square plus r minus 6 is equal to 0. So in order to get the answer of it, firstly if we talk about the area of triangle here, we can find out as we are being given with the angle and the two adjacent sides. So we are going to use half AB sine theta, right? So that is going to be half and the sides are r plus 2 and r plus 5. So it is r plus 2 multiplied with r plus 5 sine theta, right? So that is equal to sine 30 degree is what we have here. Further, if I talk about the area of the square, so area of square is simply r plus 1 whole square, because the area of square is side square itself. So let's just solve it and equate both the sides here. It is going to be half, then we'll have is r square plus 7r plus 10 is equal, multiply 1 over 2 is equal to r square plus 1 plus 2r. So we are just going to multiply 4 on the other side. This is going to be r square plus 7r plus 10 is equal to 4r square plus 4 plus 8r. So then it is going to be bringing it all on the one side, 4r square minus r square plus 8r minus 7r plus 4 minus 10. So if we talk about, we are getting this as 0 is equal to 3r square plus r plus minus 6, right? So that is what we need to prove here, right? I hope that we have understood the A part of it. Now moving to the B part of the question, which says solve the equation 3r square plus r minus 6 is equal to 0 Give your answer to 2 decimal places. You must show all your working. So now, as we are getting a quadratic equation here, which is 3r square plus r minus 6 is equal to 0. So in order to get the roots of it, in order to get the value of r here, so r is equal to minus b, which is minus 1, plus minus square root of b square minus 4 multiplied with a multiplied with c over 2a, which is 2 multiplied with 3. So further, if we are going to solve it, it is going to be minus 1 plus minus, in the root we are going to have is 4 multiplied with 3 is 12, 12 multiplied with 6 is 72. So we are going to get it as 1 plus 72, which is going to be 73 over 6. That is what we are going to get here, right? So we are, if we talk about the two values of r that we are getting is minus 1 plus root 73 over 6, and the other value that we are getting here is minus 1 minus root 73 over 6, right? So let's use the calculator in order to get this value, what we are getting here as. So we are getting the square root as 8.5. So this is going to be 7.544 over 6. So let's do the calculation. So we need to just get it to 2 decimal places as being asked in the question, right? So we are going to get this as 1.25, or we can by rounding off we can write it as to 1.26. While if I talk about the other value that we are getting here, right, so that is going to be, let's just do the calculation. Firstly, we are going to do the square root of 73 minus 1, just a second. Divided with 6. So we are getting it as minus 1.60. So these are the two values of r that we are going to get after solving this. Okay, so this is how we are going to use a quadratic formula. So that's all that we had to do for this session. I hope that you have understood all the questions that we have discussed along with the entire theory of the chapter. So from here we can understand that how important this chapter is for your exams. So I'll be meeting you in the next session where we will be learning some more concepts, some more topics. Till then, stay connected.